Hi, Alice. This is Mrs. Myers. We're going to go over the answers to this week's ACT practice passage for science. Now, looking at this passage, the first thing I would recommend is do not read this paragraph here. It will take you too long. I would say go straight to the questions. If you don't want to go straight to the questions, maybe skim this image here and annotate things that look important. For example, that we have the wild type strain here. Let me switch to the highlighter actually. Wild type strain here, the mutant A and the mutant B. That might be helpful for you to notice, but otherwise I would just go straight to the questions. All right, number 35. According to the figure, how many cells are directly made by meiosis 1 in the mutant A, and how many cells are made by meiosis 1 in mutant B? All right, I see meiosis 1 is here, here, and here. And they're asking about mutant A and mutant B. So these two here. In mutant A, it makes 1 cell. In mutant B, it makes 2 cells. So 1 and 2, my answer is B for 35. All right, for 36, I will switch to a new color, blue. 36, according to the figure, does meiosis in mutant B produce as many spores as does meiosis in the wild type? Okay, so they're asking about meiosis overall. That tells me it's asking about meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. And they're asking about wild type versus mutant B. So we're looking at wild type here and B for meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. All right, at the end of both of these, I see 4 are made with wild type. And I see 2 are made with mutant B. So it asks, do you have as much with mutant B? No. Only 2 are made for mutant B. So 36 should be F, 2 versus 4. All right, 37. Let's switch to another color. Let's do red. 37. Suppose that 10 chromosomes are found in each of the spores for a species of yeast, species X. That's not in the picture. I don't think anything about species X is in the picture. If there are no mutations, what is the diploid number of chromosomes of species X? Okay, now for this, you might need to know a little bit of science background knowledge. You learned this in biology, diploid and haploid. Diploid means there are 2 copies of each chromosome. Haploid means there's 1. If you did not know these terms, you can find what diploid and haploid mean because they are in the paragraph here. I'm looking for where haploid is. It's here somewhere. Anyway, they're in the paragraph. Technically, you should not know very much background knowledge at all. Okay, 37. If we start with 10 in the spores, 10 in these ones here, how many were in the diploid? Diploid would be what we start with at the beginning when we have 2 of each. So at the beginning here, okay? If we start with 10 in each, that's like 1 of these chromosomes. It looks like we have twice as much at the beginning. So 10 times 2 would be 20. Our answer for 37 is C. Okay. If you already knew what diploid and haploid mean, you just know you times by 2 to get what we start with before meiosis. All right, 38. 38, we'll switch to green. In the figure, which of the 2 strains of either has a mutation that affects meiosis 1? Okay, so now meiosis 1 we know is here. And wild type, this one down here, we know had no mutations because these 2 are the mutants, okay? So basically, which one of these mutants had something messed up with meiosis 1 compared to the wild type, okay? Looking at mutant A, this result of meiosis 1 looks very different. It's only 1 cell compared to 2, so definitely we have a mutation in A. Okay, and B, it looks the same as the wild type, so there's no mutation for B. So A only. My answer for 38 should be F. A only had the mutation in meiosis 1. All right, 39. Let's switch back to orange. 39. The depiction of meiosis in the figure for which of these 3 strains, if any, is consistent with the statement DNA replication occurs between meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. You don't have to know what DNA replication is to get this right. They're just asking, is it true for any of these 3 options that DNA replication happens between here and here, meiosis 1 and meiosis 2? I don't see any DNA replication here. The only place I see it is up here at the beginning. So that is not true for any of these. All of them have DNA replication at the beginning before meiosis. So your answer should be D for 39. All right, 40, last one, let's use blue. Based on the figure for a wild type meaning this first column here, wild type, you can see it under all the highlighting. The mass of DNA, the total mass of DNA per cell is greatest at what time, okay? The DNA are these chromosomes, these little pictures here. So basically, when in this journey was there the most DNA in the cell? I see that this one has the most in it, right? You have two of these X-shaped chromosomes and they both are doubled. So this one should be our answer. Let's see which one describes that. F says the end of interphase and the start of DNA replication. So back here, probably not F. G says the end of replication and the start of meiosis 1. That sounds correct. After replication, before meiosis 1, that's when there's the most DNA. So 40 is G. All right, thanks for watching the solutions video. Hope you have a great week.